Then we have Definity coming to Auckland on 31st of July. You can register at definity.co.nz. And we have also Definity Sydney and Melbourne on 5th of August is in Sydney and 7th of August is in Melbourne. The links are there. Reza, can you please post the links as well? And do you want to share something, please, regarding the Definity event and your courses?
Thank you. I appreciate that. So the course is a 3 days Microsoft Fabric course. I ran it last year in many cities overseas, and this is the first time we are going to run it in Auckland. Hands-on course, 3 days, full, like from beginner to advanced level, so that you can build a Power BI Fabric solution. And the Definity is, of course, our flagship conference that we run in Auckland always in the past, but last year we had it in Auckland and Sydney. This year we are going to Auckland, Sydney, and Melbourne. Both Arafat and Indira are in the speakers list, and we have many speakers coming overseas from Microsoft team. So would be plenty of opportunities to learn and connect with people, network, and also have fun. So really looking forward to have you all there.
Thanks, Reza. So with that, Arafat, the stage is yours.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, it was supposed to happen for those who have just joined. It was supposed to happen in person. It is happening just virtually because of me. So I would like to apologize for that. It's just that I couldn't make it, unfortunately, because of my sickness. Now I'm better. I can talk, and you must have seen a little bit of glimpse on the slide who I am. So I am Arafat Tehsin. I'm joining you from Sydney, Australia, and I'm Microsoft MVP for AI. We'll talk about detailed introduction at the end if we get time. So I'll just share my screen. I've posted a chat message on the chat. If you can like it or don't like it, this is just a question to ask if you have ever built an agent. Meanwhile, I'll share my screen. I promised that there won't be any slides, so definitely there won't be. So that's why you see a blank screen on my browser. And then we'll try to go from there. So the whole session today is going to revolve around how you can start building an agent and how you as a developer specifically, if you're not developer, that's not a problem. We can discuss the other options as well. But this session is primarily for those who are into development, software development, regardless of their language, whether they are doing Python, they are doing .NET. You would be able to do in either of the languages, in Java as well, if you want to try out building agents. So what I will be showing you is how you can build an agent from ground zero to how you can build multi-agent scenarios, how you can use multiple 2 or 3 or 4 agents together to solve certain problems, and then how you can use Azure AI agent service at the end to use different toolings such as code interpreter and others. So ping grounding as well. We'll see if it works. So what we will be using to do all of that, we will be using semantic kernel. So those who don't know semantic kernel, my suggestion is to just write it down on your search engine. And this is the best place to learn semantic kernel. With my constant feedback and others constant feedback, the documentation looks really, really good now. So if you are someone who has been a .NET developer, but never have seen this, or if you just know about it but don't know where to start semantic kernel, my suggestion is to just start learning about the concept and then just go to their GitHub repo and get the samples. This is the best way. I've learned in a similar way. You will not see now anything which is super old over here, which is contradicting with the GitHub repo. Earlier, there were a lot of cases like this. However, if you just stay for another 32 or maybe 40 minutes, you will know a lot of the things which are listed over here. So to do that, who loves building their demos with console apps? Can you just thumbs up or send a reaction? Nice. Dan says he does. David says he does as well. I know a lot of you do as well. I used to do as well, but not anymore. And I'll tell you why is that case. So this is my Visual Studio code. And I'll just zoom in a bit so you don't have to worry about it. Let me know please if you think that my screen is too wide and my fonts are too small. I'm happy to tweak it, not a problem. So what we are going to discuss today, as I said, that we'll go through from very ground up. So this is my notebook. I am going to use the flagship Polyglot notebook. What does Polyglot notebook does and how it is different than Jupyter notebook is that you can run multiple languages within just one notebook, which you can't do with Jupyter Notebook. So we'll see the examples of that as well, where I'll be using C#, but at the same time, I'll also be using Python. And I have written down, so all of this, whatever I'm going to show you, by the end of this talk, I'll tell you like how you can get everything what I've shared over here. So nothing I'm going to show you, which is I will I will not show you anything which I won't be sharing. So you will see everything in your machine in next hour or so. Okay, so this is just a description of how you can get started. If it is the first time for you, it's a very basic free extension by Microsoft. So you can go to extensions, write down Polyglot Notebook, and you can download these this package. So it works in a very similar way if anybody has experienced Jupyter Notebook, but if they have not, of course, they must have done some of the work with the console apps. So as you would write in a console app, just like this, microphone test 1 2 3, it would just spit out whatever you will write down over here. And this was just a test. So I have got my settings file, which I don't want to show you over here, but it has got my credentials. So what I'm using GPT-4o today. My endpoint and my Azure right now, or my Azure and OpenAI endpoints are pointing to Sweden Central just because they get the models first. So I've just configured them. So now what is semantic kernel, all of that description, as I said that I will just give you a little bit of description of those, but for the details one, you can definitely go and learn about yourself in detail. However, what semantic kernel is, why it is required, why are we even discussing this, why not we are just consuming the OpenAI API or Azure OpenAI API. So imagine this in a way that, for example, you have got an app and okay, you have got an app and that app requires to communicate with, for example, weather application, or weather service, some flight service, some restaurant service, and you may want to integrate AI to that as well to add some personalization aspect, or to get the flight timings and to create some dashboard and all that. For you to consume those APIs and then to orchestrate all of that into your application, you may have to create your own middleware or API layer. So to address this problem of creating your own middleware or orchestration layer, or orchestration framework, sorry, you can just use one lightweight framework called semantic kernel. Semantic kernel is a .NET, Python, Java lightweight open source framework. You can just use like in a very simple way, you can just bring in your whatever the models or whatever the frontier models you have and start adding the AI capabilities to your application. So all of the top stacks are now supported. Now, how do you integrate it with that? So as I said, so I'm using the latest package, which means that if there is an issue with the latest package, which they just pushed today, um, then we will just use the older one. That's it. So, but we are going to use the package which has been released last night. Okay, so how do you or how does one person if they go and they integrate semantic kernel with their application? It is as simple as writing this piece of code. So over here, what I'm doing is I'm just creating a kernel and then adding my chat completion uh, endpoints. So I have got GPT-4o and I'm adding my GPT-4o to my kernel. So if I run this, what it is going to do, it is going to download the packages. So I'm downloading these two packages, core and plugin core, and it has been downloaded. So now since it has been downloaded, so what are plugins? So what are plugins? So plugins are you can consider plugins as the methods. Although I've written a better example over here, but you can consider plugins and prompts. Both of them are methods. Um, so plugins is a is a superset of prompts and native functions, which or native plugins. We will go and understand this in a bit, but um, these are the plug and play elements or pluggable elements which you can use with semantic kernel to add to in extend your capability or to extend your AI applications capability. So for example, you may, as I explained you about the weather app and the flight operations and some connectivity with your CRM, your ERP, your database, you can write down the plugins for all of those. And these are the small blocks which can be added just like to your Lego model, and then it can start functioning in that manner. So for example, you have got an application which is you have got a retail application or you have got an application to book an order, but now you also want to integrate it with the weather, because people might be booking out for their evening dinner and they might want to know, oh, what's the weather, and because of that you may want to just facilitate your customers, so you have just integrated it with the weather plugin. And as soon as you just integrate with weather plugin, it is as simple as that. You are just writing a method and integrating it with that. So there are two ways to write down the plugins. So one way is just writing the prompts. So just writing in the text file or YAML file. The other way is to writing a C# method. Um, Now I know that you may be wondering, or if it is the first time that what is he speaking about? So let's talk about the examples. So and I've built it in a way that you can build literally games out of it. But let's see. So as you know, we already defined kernel over here. So but we have not built it. So I've already created the builder. But now what I'm doing over here, because this code is the continuation of the previous one, I'm just going builder.build, which means that the kernel will be built. I have got some of the plugins in my plugin directory. So what is my plugin directory? So you see over here. So this is my plugin directory. Um, all you see over here is we have got shopping plugin, we have got budget plugin, all that. Um, but I'm just trying to load my city plugin. So my city plugin has got two files. Um, skprompt.txt, which just has got the prompt in it, and it says that tell me a capital city of the country below. And country below has got an input variable, which means that I need to provide a variable to it, and the config.json. So config.json, what does it do? It tells you that what are the parameters or what are the execution settings of that model which you are using. For example, how many tokens should it have, temperature and all that, and what are the input variables. So going back, um, over here, I'm just loading the plugin, city plugin over here, right? And this is the get city plugin. So get city city plugin has got certain functions in it, which means get city is one of them. And then I load the specific functions to the city plugin functions. When I run it, nothing happens because I'm just loading it. Now, since it has been loaded, you may remember that this may this was asking for input. My SK prompt was asking for input. So how do you provide the input? Um, by using kernel arguments. And over here, I'm providing New Zealand as my country. So um, I think everybody should know what should be the capital of New Zealand. But just sharing it over here that you are writing input as the New Zealand. And now once it is added, what we are going to do, we are going to invoke the kernel to run this specific plugin. So when we run this specific plugin, what is going to happen is that it is going to get a result, and then that result will be displayed. So I'll run it again, and then we can come over here and we can change it to, for example, Australia, and here it is. So now, since you know that by providing an input, we can get an answer from the prompt as well. So let's build a riddle game. And over here, what I'm doing, that I've got another plugin called Guess plugin. So Guess plugin has got a few more um, functions. Get riddle, guess what? Within get guess plugin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the riddle. Within the get riddle one, what it is happening is when I go to get riddle, it just says that ask a riddle with its answer below, tell me the answer and the riddle as well. Um, of course, I can just not show the answer to the audience, but what I'm showing over here is just when I come over here, I'm just showing the question. So you can see that I speak with a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? So if I was to come over here and do this as well, you could have seen that it has got the answer as well, right? So you can, like, if you want, you can build these games as well. I built this game, literally a game of mobile phone, like with the phone with an app, called Guess What. So if you go and YouTube it, you will find it. But unfortunately, I don't have the workload of Maui running on my Visual Studio, so that's why I couldn't show you. Now you can build the same stuff in by writing the inline plugins as well, because there are cases where you may not want to use the file-based plugins or prompts, and there is a right reason for that is because if you are working within the cross-platform environment or web environment, you may not be able to access the file system. So because of this, so this is just an inline implementation of what we have shown you, what I've shown you. So over here, I could change riddle about, like I've written down that ask an interesting riddle about a fruit with its answer below. I can say ask a riddle about a vegetable, or and then it would just go and show me. You can see that it has given me this whole prompt. So if I had to know the answer, I could just go and get the answer as well and show it over here. But you got the point, right? Um, yeah, so now you can play with the models, image models as well. For now, GPT-1, which is GPT-image-1, is not working, or was not working till last night, when I was trying to play with it. So what you can do, you can also build some multimodal capabilities with semantic kernel. The idea is same. you build the semantic, you build the kernel, you add some of the models. Like one, I'm adding the ADA model as well for the embeddings, which I'll speak to you about, um, and Dolly for the image ones, and then chat model as well for my chat purpose. So what I'm doing over here is that it will go to my guest plugin, which is my guest plugin, and then it will get plugin as all of my plugins. I will put an input over here as Pakistan, or I could put, for example, New Zealand to make it easier and for you guys. So, and over here I come and then I will, um, what I'm doing is I'm creating this similar kind of image about New Zealand, and I'll show you what am I doing. So over here I'm saying that choose a landmark in a big city within New Zealand. Remember that it has to be a famous, which it has, which at least has a known landmark. The New Zealand has to be known in terms of history, culture, blah blah blah, right? So what it will do is that it will create the image and um, and then get the description out of it, and then put the description in some memory and also show you that image. So later on, once once it runs, then we can ask a question about this image from our audience if we were to build this for, let's say, kids. So this idea literally came out of this, that I had to give a small talk to the people, or to the kids, of, I think, grade 7 or something. But yeah, so now you have got the image. Now you have to just guess what it is. Now for us to guess it, what I'm doing over here is that I have generated an image, put it in my, I've shown over here, but I've put the description somewhere in my memory. And what am I going to do over here is that I'm going to use the image embed, sorry, I'm going to generate the embeddings out of the description. And once I've generated the embedding out of descriptions, then I'll use the cosine similarity to match it. Now, all of these details, cosine similarity, embedding, I've defined it over here. Because of the I'm conscious of the time, so that's why I'm just skipping this. But what you can do is that if you click on this, it will say that, okay, tell me what it is. And I will just say, for example, just making up, right? Nothing. So Sydney Harbor or something like this. So what it is going to do, that it is going to um, say that no, it is Sky Tower. So what it is doing, it is just matching this with this text and calculating the score, which is the cosine similarity. Um, the right way to do that is, of course, I would have provided the similar amount of text, then the score would have been fluctuated or matched in a similar way. But this is just to show you that how you can build easily these kind of capabilities. Now, of course, this was very basic. Let's talk about a little sophistication, or let's add some sophistication to it. So everybody must have heard about function calling. If they have not, or tool calling, don't worry about it. It's just about adding more capabilities to your um, agents. So for example, you have got an app, and you now, think about in this manner, that now we want to go a little further than just solving a problem by asking one prompt and then just spitting an output or getting an output of that particular AI engine or AI model. We may want to do certain operation based upon those things. So what we are going over, we are doing, we are initiating again, creating the kernel again, adding my chat completion over here, but this time I'm also adding plugins. And what are those plugins? So you may know by now that if you go to LLMs, which or download local LLMs and try to use Olama or something, you will appreciate this, that they don't know time, they don't know weather, they are not connected with the external world. So for us to connect them with the external world, we need to add them the add some capabilities to them, and plugins are one of the capabilities. So what we are doing over here, I'm adding two plugins which are provided by semantic kernels team by themselves, which is a part of semantic kernel.core project, core package. Two of the plugins I have written down over here, food plugin and shopping plugin. Let me load them first. So what I'm doing over here is I'm generating a food recipe, and by providing just the input as food recipe. So let me go to the food plugin, and when I go to food plugin, get recipe, again generate a recipe for the input cuisine. I'll quickly run it, and then it will generate something around like whatever the Malaysian um, food recipe is. So it has generated, and it has given me a very good description of this, that these are the ingredients, blah blah blah. Because what I have asked that go to recipe and give me the recipe of this cuisine. Now I want to take the output of this recipe, and I wanted to do a shopping of it, right? So my shopping plugin, what does it do? It generates a list of grocery for the input. So I had to, now I've decided that yes, fine, I want this um, recipe, and these are the ingredients, but I want to buy or generate a grocery list. So for me to generate a grocery list, I need to provide my recipe, and so this is how the chaining, or you can say the planning of an LLM works as well, that it takes an output from the previous one and considers it as an input for the other. So now it has given us these are the details, grocery list, all of that grocery list coming up, blah blah. Now we can also mix together all of that. So how I'm doing over here, so you can see that I've written down the I've my plugin is cloned now. So this is my cloned plugin. My friend is coming from China. He wants to have a Chinese cuisine in his dinner. Please suggest a Chinese dinner, blah blah blah, and show us the output in a clear format with the dish and the grocery list. Also summarize everything in one line. So you can see that now I'm also using this conversation summary plugin. It will take some time, and then it will give you those details. Once this is done, then very quickly I'll show you some more one more console app stuff, and then we'll get into that. I'll ignore this DeepSeek part. You don't have to worry about it. And I was just thinking that we would talk about MCP, but that's for the next time. So you can see that now it has generated the whole Chinese dish, kung pao chicken, and then grocery list, and then summary, everything. So all the plan. So before I go to the agents part, which is my next topic, and where we will see everything, super duper agent stuff. But let me show you one more way of doing this. So yes, I've shown you on my chip polyglot notebook. Some of the people might be asking that, what's the use for me? Why can't I just go and have it in my application, and how can I integrate it? Similar stuff. So I have built, so let me first run this. Sorry, not run. Let me explain this first. So this is just a very basic, you can say, very basic chat experience. And I've just named it as custom Copilot. You can write it down, whatever. And this way, what I'm doing over here is that I am using a chat completion service, and I've loaded like 3 plugins, which I will walk you through very quickly. Written down a decent prompt over here, and then I'm just going in and talking. So there is no ending loop. Also, like there is no way to end this loop unless you just close it. But you can define if you want, and if and there depending upon the business. Um, so over here, I'm just using weather. So as I said that weather's like there is no way that LLM can get you weather unless you integrate with some service. Same is the case with the flight operations as well. So, and this is the point. This is the reason why I have brought up this whole plugin idea over here. So I'll speak to you about it, but let's see by just running it in 2 minutes. So for example, I'll just say, hello, I'm using GPT-4o as I explained earlier. So oh, what's the weather right now in Auckland? And now what it is going to do that it has gone to Auckland weather plugin, got us the data. That's it. So, okay, I will say, what is the flight status from Sydney to Melbourne? Now it has come over here. You can see, but let's do a little bit understanding as how powerful LLM or how powerful semantic kernel is. And to show you how powerful these things are, I will show you a few things. So this is my Postman, and I'm using the exact same API which I'm using over here. So aviation stack, blah blah. I'm using the aviation stack API because this is free. This is my flight IATA code. So I had to provide IATA code to get the flight status. Um, that's how I get the flight status, flight details, correct? Now, there is another way to find out the flight because you may not every time know the the number of it. So you may use destination and source. And over here, I'm using destination and source. So if I say, for example, Dubai to Auckland, um, you will never ever get any details. Or for example, if I say Dubai to Sydney, and the reason is that because Dubai or Sydney or Melbourne or Auckland, they are not understood by the flight systems. What is understood by the flight system is basically the IATA code. So if I say DXB and SYD, if I do it now, you will see that there, there is a data returned, right? They have written the data back and because this is what is requested. Now, I have written down Sydney to Melbourne. If you go and see semantic kernel's function over here, I have never ever defined this as that for SYD, for Sydney, it should be SYD. I've just defined the description that IATA code for the source location, IATA code for the destination. But if I go to source, you see SYD. And if I go to destination, you see MEL. So this is amazing because if you had to do it yourself, you would have to go and take the destinations and source first, and then you had to go and convert it. So if I just run it, and it would just go call the service, and then it would just go back with the result, come back with the result. So this is really, really cool, and that's why I wanted to show you this app. But now coming back again to our agents. So agents again, I'm using some other stuff now. So just loading this again, and I will just, we don't need this. So for the agent one, again, I'm using the latest SDK. So, but it requires a little bit more packages because we will be using Gemini, we will be using um, Azure OpenAI, and we will also be using hopefully Llama as well, which I can just ensure that it is working fine in my terminal. It should be, but I'm just in, yeah, um, just started. So yeah, now what we are going to do is you can see that I have written down GPT-4o, we are using GPT 2.0 Flash, and then we are also going to use Olama as a service. So we have got connectors for everything. I was also planning to use on-device model, which is like file-based Onyx models, but I thought that it would be better just to show these things. Oh, this is the function to just load the utilities, like to show you what are the tokens and all that stuff. So just ignore that. You can explore this later on when I give you an access to this. So our first agent talks about weather, and it is not connecting with any service. It is just, you can see that I have written down for just now, make it up. You don't have to call any service, but just to show you that how one person can create an agent. So you can create. So this is your weather agent. It is as simple as setting up some of the basic stuff over here. So basic stuff as in you just add these things, your services, models, and then over here I'm just building up and creating a chat agent. So as soon as sorry, chat completion agent. So when I create my agent, weather agent, I just invoke it. This my invoke message is defined over here. So you can see that this is my invoke message. Sorry, not this one. This is my invoke message, and then it calls the right usage, right agent chat message. What does it do? It just go and traverse and then spits out the output. But it also tells you like how many tokens did it take and how many tokens did it give you out. So it is good to just see that what is the cost incurring. Um, but you can see now your weather agent is ready. Now this was okay, but you could do the same with with the previous examples which I've shown you. Now the good part is that this is our another kitchen agent where we have got another example, and in this example I'm also adding plugins to my agent. So this time it has a food plugin. Again, you might remember the food plugin, but I'm providing descriptions to this food plugin. And what is happening with this food plugin, I've already executed it because I'm using Olama, and it will take little while to get us the output because it is CPU version. You are an agent responsible for the suggestion of the food option depending upon the weather of the time. You need to make sure that you suggest something vegetarian. So it has a condition to it, and then I have written down what should I eat now as a user, whatever the dish you plan. Can you please tell me the recipe of that too? Now, what it is going to do that it is by using this recipe of that, it will definitely be calling the same function which I've shown you earlier. So it takes a little while because it is a local model, but once it gets back, we will come back to it again. So let's move a little ahead. But how you can see that I am not using any other model. I have defined to use specifically to use OLAMA service, and OLAMA service was defined earlier over here as OLAMA service. This is my OLAMA chat completion, so it is only using this one. Okay, now since it will come back in its own time, let's move on. So we have got a tour planner agent. What does it do that? There are two agents over here. One is the travel planner. What does it do? It plans the agent, or it plans the travel. So, sorry, it has now come back. So let's see this first. Based upon the tool call and response, blah, 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 it has defined this, and it has now given us all of these details, which is good. Now, tour planner, what does it do? You can see the description over here as well, that travel planner is just like an expert trip organizer focused on creating concise, detailed itineraries. But we have got a budget advisor as well. So what does it do? The multi-chat scenario opens up. Travel planner instructions are that it has to create a detailed travel itineraries based upon the user preference. You are very concise, you don't waste time in details, blah blah. It is going to use GPT-4. Oh, but the other one which we have got budget travel, and it has got budget advisor as a plugin as well. So you can say um, uh, native plugin as well. So if I go over here, um, close down everything and go to hopefully my plugin, budget advisor. So this is my budget advisor. It has got over budget, under budget condition over here. But what does it do? That it also checks whether my budget, the budget which has been provided, is over budget or not. So and I'll tell you where we are providing budget, so don't worry about it. But you can see the description over here. This one we are using for budget travel, we are using Google Gemini, and for the travel one we are using Travel Planner. Now the user comes in and say that, hey, I want to plan a trip to Japan for 6 days and staying in hotels, my budget is just $1,200. Plan it out for me. Now, it's the duty of budget planner is to only approve the plan if they are not within the range. So your goal is to ensure that users' plans are financially feasible and not beyond the total cost. If they are not within the range, provide feedback and reject the plan with no. So if it is within the range, then approve it with a yes. So we have also defined our criteria of approval strategy, which is if it contains yes, then it will be approved. The approval strategy is defined over here. So or the termination strategy is defined over here. And the agent who is going to approve or to reject is budget advisor. So if I run this, we can see that now we are going to see the outputs coming over here because it is streaming most of the time. So now you can say that it is now giving us Japan 6 day itinerary, and 1 day, 2 day, and all of that, and it is giving you the details of this as well, and then it calculates all of that, and it says that yes, your 980 is fine, and it says yes, approved and true. If it had exceeded its limit, then it would have not approved it, and then it would have run it again and again. Now, fine, but this was just one approver and one you can say a person who is just doing the job. I need to know what if like there are like six or four or three agents working together, and then there is one agent who is going to approve it. How it is going to work, like how the selection strategy would work. So over here we have got concierge service. We have got weather agent, another GPT-4o. We have got food agent, another GPT-4o. Over here I've not distinguished it, but we can go easily and we can change it to Gemini or whatever we want to. That's not a problem at all. It works fine. It's just that I've put in um, we can put in Gemini service. And then what does it do is that if I run this, so every ah, did not run. Maybe something is wrong. Or I have done something wrong. Just give me a minute. See this? This is what happens when you use the latest code. Okay, so just give me a yeah. I know this could be because let me just do a very quick run. Sorry. We know that when we used because I literally did yesterday on 4/9, and today we have got like 50, so here it is. Um, but let's see. I will do this very quickly. Apologies, but never knew that it would not work. Um, so 50/50 agent score is 50 as well. Um, let's run first, and then we'll come back again. I want okay, just a minute. How much time do I have, Indra?
Around 10 minutes, so don't worry. You can
Okay.
take more time. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I will see again just one more time, and I know like how to solve this problem because we are using the latest one, and there might have been some new changes. So yeah, they have got agent selection result which has been changed. It could have been something else, which I can see, but let's see if yeah, yeah, agent. something they might have just changed the whole naming of this. Okay, fine. We will come back to it in a bit. No problem. By using the other package. Let's talk about the last bit, which is another agent stuff, and that's about the Azure AI agent stuff. So this is where you can add personalization. So what's the use of why we are discussing two types of agents now? Like why are we not just sticking towards just the completion chat completion agent? And the reason why is because Azure AI agent service is a managed agent service. So you don't have to worry about any of the workloads. You don't have to worry about any of the infrastructure part of it. You just have to worry about your agent's um, project or agent creation, like the project which you have created within Azure AI Foundry. How do you do that? So first of all, you just go ai.azure.com. You need to have certain whitelisted models as well if you are going to use those. So, and then you just create a project. Once you create a project, you will be coming to this um, beautiful, fancy user interface, and you can choose the models from here as well, and you can choose the agents from here as well. You can create the agents from here if you want. I could go over here, create my agents, um, or or use whatever the agents I have created, and I can also try them in the playground. I can add knowledge sources over here. I can add actions over here. So there are multiple knowledge sources now, um, including with the grounding with Bing search. But if you are using it grounding with Bing search on the free um, uh, subscription, it will never work. So free subscription means like if you are using your schools, if you are using your the subscription which Reza or Indra or Dan might have given you as a voucher, it will never work. So because this requires a specific paid subscription, and grounding with Bing search will not work otherwise. So it's very simple, and you can also go try in the playground. So when you go and try in playground, you have got all of these capabilities which you see in the other Azure OpenAI playground as well, along with some other settings. However, let's go and dive into it uh, from code. So over here, I did not have to do anything, as I said. Like I'm not setting up the models, the API key, and others myself. I'm just using the connection string, and it will be set it up for me. So for me to again, I'll be using furiously the latest package. So and fearlessly as well. So I'm using this latest package as we speak. What does it do? It has got the similar stuff. It is creating a builder, and then it is also creating some of the clients. I'm also deleting my previous agents because I did not need them. So all of the agents will be deleted, which I've created, which you saw over here. So if you go and you see now, you may not be able to see any of the agents over here as well. Right, so none of the agents are here. Now, again, these are some of the utility functions which we spoke about it other there on the other side as well. The good part over here is that, for example, now you may want to build um, some personalization for so as an example, I'm just asking about the weather, and I'm asking about the weather. Hey, what's the weather right now? And it just tells me the weather, that what it is going on right now. So the weather, whatever the weather is, and it has given me the description of weather, this agent. Now if I come back and say, by just providing a thread, that this is the thread, what do you think of tomorrow? So I'm not writing down anything else. And now what it should do, it should go and just remember this. Oh, it is asking me for the location. It should not. It should have just told me that this is the weather for tomorrow. And to make it more interesting, so understand, let's try to see this smart wait staff agent. So for example, you have got two customers, myself and another customer called Mariam. I have got food order. For example, I come one day and say that I would like to order cheeseburger and fries. This is my first order, and then I come again, I would like to order food, and then we would see that how it should be responded back with the agent, and then I'll say again the next day, I feel like I'm something ordering something new. So I've got a food agent, nothing fancy. I have got nothing else loaded to it. But if I run this, let's see what answer do we get. So I will say I would like to food order. It has given me an answer that got it. You are ordering cheeseburger and fries. Would like to add drinks? Blah blah blah. And I said I would like to order again. Welcome back. It says welcome back because it had my thread in its memory. And when I say I feel like I'm trying to something new, and it started giving me a new option. But yeah, I think it did not give, like, it should have given me the new option. I think it just overrid it. Yeah, it has given me the option. Yeah, here are the good options to be considered. Sorry. Yeah, so it has given me a couple of other options. Now this was just me, and now if you run this for Mariam, so for example, it says I would like chicken salad, and then it starts giving I would like to order my usual salad. Your usual salad is grilled chicken salad. So you can see that now it has started building the profile of their customer. So this is how you can really add personalization aspects to it. To add it on, you can now add the sales data and other files to it as well, and start asking questions and really um, build an agent around it. So over here, I've got a sales data over here, and to show you that what my sales data is. If I go over here, this is my sales data, product category, units sold, and revenue. What I'm doing over here is that I'm asking that, look, you are my code interpreter agent. You are code interpreter agent capable of running Python code. Users can provide CSV files, text file, or whatever. By the way, CSV file is not working. There is a bug with Azure AI agent service, but they are looking into it. So I've provided text file. What does it do? That it uses code interpreter agent, so it runs code and then it spits out the output. Same is the case this for me. We have two users, but the only one user is running. That this is the user. Um, Load the sales data file and calculate the total revenue. So if I run this and then plot a bar, so what it is going to do, it is not just going to calculate the revenue, but it is also plot a bar. And this is where the power of polyglot notebook will come. So now you can see that it might have calculated the total somewhere over here, that is calculate the total revenue. um, Appears to be structured, blah blah blah, units sold, the revenue, and it is now doing its magic of doing. So if you go, you can see that it is doing a couple of things. um, right, so if I start reading it, I will find out where it has calculated the total revenue, but it has also generated the chart as well over here. So import lib and then group by. So what I have done already, that I have put in the same code base, because I know I've copied it from top as well. Similar code base over here, and you can say rotation 45, HA right, and all that. So now this is a Python code, but this is a Jupyter notebook. So if I run this, what it will do is that it will connect to the Python kernel, and it will run the Python code in the same notebook which was for C#. And what it will do is that it will generate a chart for us, whatever the chart it has been created. I know that I've just got 1 minute. I'll not take more than 5 minutes. So this is just the depiction of what Python has generated for us. You could also use the external documents. So for example, we have got policy documents. We have got leave attendance records document, right? You have got these are two PDFs. This is one uh, markdown document, right? So any of the documents you can use with um, Azure AI agent service. So to show you is one of the examples is your leave and attendance agent. Over here there is a leave attendance agent. You are asking that find the total number of leave take days taken by Alice Brown this year, because it is referring to the attendance records PDF. So you can basically do the RAG operation very effectively without getting into all of that very complex stuff. Just use Azure AI Agent Service, and it will be easier for you with semantic kernel. So it has given the response about all of the answers. So all of the questions which I have asked. For example, Ellis Brown has a total of 8 leaves left. Then I asked which department has the highest number of absence, and it has said that the HR department itself. And the last one is again some of the questions about some of the document. So this is mainly this is mainly it. The last example was around the Bing grounding, but I realized that my Bing grounding is not going to work just because um, I did not my the other subscription of mine is now disabled, so I won't be able to do that. However, with the Bing grounding, what do you do? That you also provide the files, you provide charts, and you can ask questions like, for example, load the agent and find the top 3 agents with the best customer service, compare the resolution from the identified slow response. You can go to internet and ask the questions as well. So for example, find the recent best practices for reducing call center wait times with Bing search and all that. Um, I would like to apologize for getting 2 minutes over. But yeah, if I had time, I would have solved the last agent's problem as well and shown you that how you can see the whole agent structure building up. But yeah,
Thank you, Arafat.
no problem. Any questions from anyone? But yeah, if you are coming to Definity, definitely you are going to see the next iteration or the advanced version of it, with the process framework and all of that, hopefully. And if you want to reach out to me, that to ask any other questions, something like you are interested in, this is my email address. You can search this name on LinkedIn. Um, I'm I'm sure I'm the only one, so uh, so you don't have to see, you will not see me twice, and you can add me easily. So, but yeah, I'm both available quite actively on emails and LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot, Arafat.
no
Very,
problem.
very insightful session.
Okay.
Any
Any
questions
questions?
you can ask? Yeah.
No questions. Either it was too boring or
Mhm.
everybody got everything. Yeah.
Eating dinner. Were you eating dinner, Dan?
I wasn't. I have to admit I wasn't. I was thinking about dinner though. I was thinking about dinner, and I thought, no, I'm gonna
Thank
pay
you.
100% attention. No, this was really fantastic, Arafat. I think really insightful. I will.
Mm.
I mean, I've got questions. Just your thoughts on what are the resources aside from obviously this repo that you would point people at for getting
Oh
started with
yeah.
semantic kernel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best way would be that I think you have already posted as well, Dan. But the way I usually do is I I go over here. Now I know the whole URL by heart, and
Yep.
and and this is um, the good way of going to this repo is, and there are others as well, but the best part of semantic kernel's own repo is that, for example, you are a Python developer, you go to Python and you go to samples. So every repo has got a very good and very thorough samples about everything. So for example, I want to get started with agents. you will find everything. You will find something which is very, very cool as well, which just got updated in six hours ago. So this is not there in .NET, by the way. I'm still jealous, but yes, it is there in Python. So you the team is updating very, very quickly. And in addition to this, the other source which I would highly recommend you is to go to um, the the Discord. So we have got a AI community, Azure AI Foundry Discord now. I will try to find out the URL for that, and you can join it. We have got very less presence, unfortunately, from this region, but I can tell you that a lot of people from Microsoft Teams are over there to help you. So please go there and ask any questions. I have got so many answers from there as well. So yeah, these were the two sources. And then YouTube, but again, as I said, semantic kernel is very dynamic, as in they are improving every day, every day. So you may find something in video which may not work when you download the latest code. So that's why I would highly recommend semantic kernel's own repo, Microsoft Docs, Azure AI Foundry Discord, because let me show you why. So so this is Foundry, right? This is Foundry Azure Foundry Discord. This semantic kernel section is not run by anybody else. This is purely run by semantic kernel's own team. So if you go, you ask a question, there are people who will just respond back right away to you because they are sitting, they are hunting for questions, and they are going to help you out very quickly. And they are, as I said, this whole community has grown up very, very widely. You find people from Microsoft, you find people who are MVPs, you find people from across the globe as well. So we have got like around 1,300, 1,200 people online. So yeah.
Thought I'd save you some key presses there as well. They've got a short link for the SK repo, which is acrms/SK repo.
Oh,
Oof.
yeah, that's handy.
Like 4 key presses. Like
Yeah.
as Scott Hanselman says, you've only got a limited number of key presses in your lifetime. You want to save every one of them, right? Anything else you'd recommend? I mean, have you seen any cool projects built with semantic kernel?
Oh yeah. So if anybody wants to, I think we have got let me find out. There has been a repo of semantic kernel examples where uh, one of the one of our community members um, combine all of the projects built on semantic kernel. I don't have that handy, but definitely I can find it out because I know there one exists, and I pulled my for my own project as well. The other thing which I'm improving these days, I can share my screen quickly, or I can just post it on the chat. Um, is that I am building. So I try to use, and I have tried to use in the past as well, semantic kernel for non-chat scenarios. And there are so much that you can do with LLMs with non-chat scenarios as well. Um, and you can think of those things as well yourself. So I'm trying to build myself or solve myself a problem of parking using semantic kernel. So you can go. This is 100% open source, as in the whole app built in .NET MAUI, using the semantic kernel behind the scenes, and getting the data, and and matching it with the parking signs and all that. I have not yet pushed the latest code, which I'm working on, to this main branch, but I will be able to do that very soon, hopefully this week. What the latest version will do is that it is now we will have the support of reasoning, and with the reasoning support you can use the good models, as in the reasoning models, the better ones, in terms of determining whether you can really park your car with the complex boards or not. Because the complex boards of the parking signs, specifically in Sydney CBD, is a mess. So that's how I came up with this um, idea.
That sounds fantastic. Are you going to have you presented this to Sophia at the Semantic Kernel community call?
I did, yes.
Oh, good. I thought I wondered if I feel like, yeah.
I've done it.
Okay, cool. That's good. Yeah, was it a few months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, a few months ago, yeah.
Yeah, with Beck and okay, awesome. No, that's fantastic.
Fantastic resources, Arafat.
Yeah, no, and I'll share it with you, the URL specifically
Okay,
about
yeah.
that repo, and then you can share it with the
Share
audience.
it with you. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Arafat.
No problem.
There are no questions. Maybe we can end it. And take
Yes.
care of yourself, Arafat.
Thank you very much.
And the family. Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Thanks all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you next week.